We are live. Hello, hello. Facebook made a little bit of an error. I scheduled this for 11 o'clock and originally it came up at 8 in the morning. I'm like, no, absolutely no way am I doing a live
No,
at 8 in the morning. I'm barely functional. I'm sure you're
same.
also.
Was not ready. Nope.
So like 11 o'clock, I can start talking to people. Anyway, welcome. I'm very excited to have this discussion. I love this title, Be Cringe, You're Making Sales. Um, I originally put it out there in the group to ask people like if there were any particular topics that they could talk about that were related to um, get exposure, because the whole idea like of getting exposure is that we're all here because, in one way or another, there's something that holds us back or we want new ideas. A lot of people here, they say that they're held back from showing up online because of self-judgment and worrying what other people think. So I think this fits in beautifully. But before we get to that, will you do a little bit of a self intro for anyone that might not know you?
Sure. Hi, I am Bayla Haskel. I am the founder of Veg It Out, which is a vegan weekly meal delivery service, subscription meal delivery service. Sorry about that background. We have a sick baby home today with us. And I live in the Americas. And yeah,
And you deliver to many cities all over Israel.
exactly. We delivered from Jerusalem to Netanya and everything in
Right.
between.
Which for anyone who doesn't live in Israel is basically, um, well, it's not the whole span of the country, but it's pretty like good, like half a chunk of the country. You
Yeah,
haven't
when you're
spread out down south yet, right?
right. Well, we do like once every few months to like Kiryat Gat area. But when you're doing
Hmm.
these kinds of deliveries, you realize like, wow, there's a lot of places that a lot of people live that are really that delivery people do not want to get to. So yeah, do it.
Right.
But eventually we will get there.
So the idea of be cringe or making sales, obviously the idea is something that I talk about a lot, which is you have to show up online, obviously in a way that feels good for you, but you have to like do that work on putting aside that fear of what other people are saying. What's my neighbor going to say? What's my sister-in-law going to say? What's my mother going to think of this? Like, I mean, I had a conversation with my father for the sixth time to try and explain to him what it is that I do. He doesn't even understand what I do. Uh, what's been your experience in terms of that, in terms of like family and friends?
So yeah, I think it's very helpful that I live like I made Aliyah and my whole family is in America. So like I didn't like when I was starting this, I didn't see them on a constant basis. Also, what was very, very helpful is that I'm the oldest of eight. So my siblings would be the ones to be that could have been the like ones that would prevent me from doing this and getting out there. Because they would have judged right away. But they all had happened to become like Haredi, like the very, very judgmental ones had become Haredi over the last few years. So they stopped going on any, like very extreme in terms of stop going on any sort of social media. Like, so they didn't see any of my stuff.
Right.
So, which is great.
Right.
They
So
got,
and we have to remember to translate in this group because we have some people that don't
oh,
speak either Yiddish or Hebrew. So ultra
really?
Orthodox basically is what we would
Ultra
call her.
Orthodox. Right. So
Yeah.
much so that they're not on any social media. And so it took them a very long time to ever see any of my actual, like the content that I use to sell.
Right.
Um, and in terms of like Facebook, that was always more like I tread a little bit more lightly there. Like when I started Instagram, what was very nice and what was I was always told is that when you come on Instagram at the beginning, no one knows you. Like you don't have any followers, so you can put
Mm,
if you come up right. No. I don't know if you have a previous account. That's something else. But I came on with no like with a zero following. No one sees you basically when you first put it out. So like I think if someone would ask me advice and they're nervous to show up, I would say create a new account for your brand and start from scratch. Because that's the best practice. Because of the algorithm, if no one's following you, I mean, now with Reels, it's a little bit different, but still,
right.
the algorithm is not going to push a reel out too far from someone that's doesn't have that much of a following. And so when I was putting stuff out there, no one on Instagram really knew who I was, and so that was fine. On Facebook, I was more like, I was careful to what I put out there because, right, I had relatives and I had friends from elementary school and bullies from elementary school, right, still on social media.
Oh, you're bullied too.
Yeah, I think the best of
I
people are.
always felt like I was the only one, and it's just not true.
But isn't it like I read your story from Shira's thing. I really related to it.
Oh gosh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's exactly that. Those of us that have something inside that's different than everyone else, that's different than the like mainstream, that we don't conform. We're the ones that are bullied because, well, how dare you be different than the rest?
Yes.
So I think it has to do with a lot of this, right? Being cringy and then having people judge you is a form of bullying.
Very true.
So yes, I wasn't worried on social media because I was starting with a very small audience, basically.
And now I remember I was actually just trying to check whether we were live in the group. I'm assuming we are because we have this comment here,
We
and
have 8 people. It says there's 8 people.
yeah, yeah, and I have this comment here from Facebook user. I don't know who it is though because I couldn't find
Oh,
the live on my page, but whatever. But thank you, Facebook user. That is so sweet.
maybe they can
Um,
write, like maybe when they post a comment, they can write their name so we can see who it is. Yeah.
yeah, you have to give permission to iCam to like publish your name, ecamm, whatever program is that I'm using. I
Okay.
remember you were one of the first people that um, before we had Reels, you were using TikTok and you made that sushi pan tray thing that went berserk, right? Tell me
Yeah.
about that experience.
That was so interesting because first I want to say one of my first cooking videos that was like a TikTok type style. And I wasn't planning on making a video. I have to remember exactly what was going on. It was Corona, right? So like was just home. And I made like, I was like, I feel like it came to me in a dream when I was in like,
That is the best ideas.
I'm serious. Like I think while I was like I had to be like quarantined in my room with my son, like for two
Oh
weeks,
my
and
God,
then
I remember that. I followed
all
you
right,
through
trauma.
that.
Sorry, we won't. It's so triggering. But anyway, when I was there, I had a lot of time to think. And so I think it came to me in a dream. And then when I came out, I was like, okay, I'm making this thing. And then I made it. And then when I did it, I was like, oh my God, this is like, it's like 49 sushi sandwiches. This is crazy. So I just opened my camera and I went to the like best slice store we have in the living room. I'm pointing over there because that's whatever. And I just like, and I put this tray of sushi sandwiches on the tray, and I was like, oh my God, I made 49 sushi sandwiches in one shot. This is crazy. And I was just really excited. And like, I didn't plan it, I didn't film it. And that was really me. Like, if anyone's watching here and whatever, it's on my TikTok and it's on my Instagram, you can go back. Maybe I'll post it again.
Hmm.
I'll share it today on stories just to like reference it. But I think why that went so first, I think the sushi sandwiches for sure. I think that's the coolest thing ever. I'm gonna have to do that again, and I have to like bring that back because I still think it's the coolest thing. But I think also I came on very genuinely because it wasn't just like, okay, now I have to be excited to eat this.
Right.
Right now I'm eating this and whatever. It
Your
literally,
enthusiasm was like contagious.
yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I made 49 sushi sandwiches. So yeah, that was probably one of my first TikToks, and it went, I don't know what it's up to, like 100,000 views or something. I don't even know. So it's cool. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think this was one of the things I wanted to cover is that sometimes we lose track of the fact that we're trying to make sales. We're trying to do lots of different things, right? We want to entertain and we want to create a community, but also like a big priority from using social media is to direct people towards our offer and make sales. Um, and I don't know, I haven't looked lately at how many people follow you. How many is it, more or
It's
less?
not that much. It's like 3,000 something. Like which I think
Right,
is like,
and yet, how much would you say that social media has played a part in building up your business?
it's all social media. Meaning probably there's some sort of word of mouth, but like it's all social media.
And a lot of the
And
word of mouth happens on people's stories as well when they're like opening up their bowls and posting about it, right?
exactly. And I think also a big part of social media is that like you can go to a website and I don't think my website maybe has enough of my personality, but I think I still wanted it to be like meaning in terms it doesn't have my face all over it the way social media does. But I think for most websites today, it's harder to give off. I mean, I think yeah, it's harder to give off like yourself, and I think people are still are looking for to like connect to a brand more deeply, and that's what you're able to do in social media. So I think most of the time we look up brands on social media, we look up companies on social media, and I think a big part of it is that you'll see the menu and you'll see the thing, but like you'll see my face, and when people order or message like they're talking to me, like they feel like they're buying from me. People still think we are making the food out of my house kitchen, but we haven't done that in
Yeah,
like
I still picture it coming out of your kitchen,
right. You were
even though I
there.
know it's not there.
You were there like right when I launched out of my house kitchen, but right, it's not, and it's in this great big kitchen in Ranana and everything, and we have to kashrut, and it's great. Sorry, we're kosher, and yeah, but people are looking for that genuineness, and I think social media gives you that place to do that. It's a person behind this. It's not just a
Yeah.
brand.
Yeah, which I think like it this that comment I can see now on Facebook on my phone. That comment is from Shira. The other comment was from Tavora Goldblatt, and this one is from Shira Brown.
Oh,
That she's
and
loved.
Shira Brown. Yeah, sorry.
Hi, gorgeous.
Who else?
Um, yeah, so we were talking about like I personally love connecting with the story. Um, like I back in the day when my husband used to travel to America, I used to get him to bring Tom's shoes back for me. Now I could have bought any kind of like slip-on, what are they called, espadrille type thing, but I love the story behind Tom's, which was for every pair of shoes you buy, they're going to donate another pair of shoes to a child that doesn't have shoes. But there was so much more to it than that. I don't know why that example just popped into my head. Um,
Also,
I listen to, like, I'm a big fan of Joe Malone perfume. The scents are like nothing I've ever smelled. And yes, you could go into um, like a dollar store, pound store kind of place and buy a candle. Yes, you could. But the story behind Joe Malone, if anyone hasn't listened to it, there's a podcast called How I Built This, I think.
I
I think
love
it's called How I Built This.
best.
And Joe Malone is on that podcast, and she talks about, you taught me about the phrase bootstrapping. I didn't know what it meant before. That's exactly what she did. Exactly what she did. Even more
Oh,
than bootstrapping. Yeah, I'd never heard of it. I didn't know what it
oh,
meant. Um, so she talks about that, and I just totally bought into that story. And and I posted something today about a service that I want to offer. I mean, I'm going slightly off topic. I'm going to bring it back in a second. A service that I want to offer, which is filming reels, having days every month where I film reels for other people, for people that just can't seem to get it done, right? And someone brought up the point that one of the hurdles that I need to get over is explaining to people why, yes, you could hand your phone off to a teenager and they could do it, but what are you getting from someone when you buy into a professional service? And I think that's something that you do in your storytelling. That's the point I was trying to make. Um, is that, by following you on social media, we get all of that. Yeah, and you don't necessarily get that from the website. And I personally always go to a website and see where their social media links so that I can understand more about them. That's the first thing I usually do.
yeah. No, and I think everyone's talking about this, and I'm not saying anything new, but I think like we're pretty much meaning people still buy Nike, and people are still buying Coke, and people still buy from Amazon and everything for sure. Um, those are like the big things, right? Well, Amazon is
Right.
everything. Like, but like,
We're not buying Adidas anymore.
yeah, but like we are still buying from big brands, but I think for different kinds of things, like there are other things besides products. First of all, today there are a lot of services, which is so interesting because I realize like I keep saying like, oh my God, there are these amazing people. Like I did, this is the first time I'm nursing until 6 months. Like with all my other kids, first I went back right to work or school right away. And also, I really struggled. Like, I really, really struggled with nursing. And I happened to come across this woman, Mika, on social media before. I don't know if you've heard of her account's Mama Bear.
Yeah.
And she's a, yeah, and so she's a social media consultant. She's a, not social media, she's a nursing consultant. And I started following her before I was even pregnant, before I was even thinking about being pregnant. I started following her because her reels are amazing. And she comes up, like, I think she shows up almost every day, like, very consistent. She's an economist. Like, she works at a company. This is not even her full-time
Wow.
job, which is even more impressive.
Mm.
But I started following her then. So by the time I was pregnant and then ready to give birth, remembering how horrible it was for my past nursing experiences, I knew to message her. And
Amazing.
I met her before the birth and then after, and she was amazing. And it was a person. It wasn't a service, and it wasn't like,
Yes.
what is it? What's the,
Lalesh.
yeah,
Mm.
Lalesh. I'm
Yeah.
sure. Okay, you maybe have that experience, but like, I'm sure someone had a good experience with them and they're amazing and everything. But I never did those kinds of things because I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't know who they're going to give. Maybe they're
You
going to be
don't know what you're
patronizing
going to get. Right.
and they're going to make me feel horrible. Her, I knew she was. Friends of mine had used her, but it was mainly the social media aspect is like was a big thing. And many of the services that I use today that are not products are coming from social media. Rosa,
Yes.
a photographer today, like we connected previously from something else, but it's I follow her on social media. Like that,
Yes,
yeah.
and that's front of mind because we are tied to our phones. We open up our phones, we scroll through stories, we look at reels, we do all of that, and we are reminded about all these businesses that exist. Whereas I don't watch television, so that's not going to remind me. I'm not on YouTube that much to see ads there. So this is really the place where I am being reminded about who exists. And that brings me back to the point of be cringe and making sales. Like show up and do it because if there's someone that thinks that you are cringy, they're not for you anyway. They're never going to connect with you or click with you, right? So great. Like you're not looking to attract everyone. With your personality, you will attract some and repel others. Like there was someone that I was following for a while that everyone, like I had like a big networking group that I was part of in England, and loads of people were, I was going to say, felling, were kind of raving about this woman. So I went to follow her, and every time I heard her speak, she made my heart kind of race. She's just very shouty with this like completely frantic energy um, in my face, and I hated it. So for me, she was very cringy. Like I couldn't bear listening to her. So I'm not her audience. So like finish. But she
So you
doesn't
knew
need
who you
me.
were getting before. You knew who you were getting before, basically. It's a way to like basically know what you're buying beforehand. So yeah, no, I really agree with that, and I think so much of us today, like right, small business owners are like a huge, definitely in Israel, like a huge part of the GDP. Like so many people now, especially after Corona, left their jobs and are small business owners. And I think what's happening now, like especially with whatever community you're in, but in Israel, we're all like it's one country. We're all this whole tight knit community throughout the whole country. I like you follow people. I think also like I could speak for myself. I follow people because I respect their business, and then many times I end up becoming their customer. So
Yeah.
I think, and I see that by my like for myself, like we're gonna have to change the strategy that we've been doing on my social media eventually or soon. But like my target audience, not my target audience, my customer is mainly female and mainly small business owner because the people and the community that I've built are people that are similar to me, and that's who I've been talking to. And it's great because then I understand who I'm talking to, and when I create my reels, they appreciate them also because they also have to create social media content, and then also they end up becoming buyers because I I'm solving a problem that they have as well. So I think that is something interesting that I've been seeing on social media is that like we follow other brands for inspiration, but they're selling products in the end of the day. So it feels like we're connecting to them on this deeper level, but like we end up buying from them if we really truly need their thing, which I think is cool. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I had someone say to me, like someone said to me once, I really wish I needed branding pictures just so that I could, like, I love
Like a buy
this
from you.
post and I want to buy from you, but I don't even like, she didn't even have her own business. She was like working in a company.
Yeah,
But that, that was so nice to hear. While you were talking, I was thinking like the other aspect of this be cringe is um, when you first, I think like when I first started making reels, I kind of like to begin with, I just did like the lip syncing stuff because that was dead easy.
yeah,
Um, and then like I watched what other people were doing, I kind of like got a feel for it, like figured out how to like film things in clips and put them together. But I actually realized that I hope that most of the things that I was filming didn't make me feel cringy while I was doing it. Like I tried doing one that was like a dance and I felt like an elephant. It was just awful and I immediately deleted it, right?
yeah.
What's that?
It didn't feel true to yourself. Like
No,
you were doing something because everyone else was doing it. So then that doesn't make sense, right?
right. So that's the other thing is that like you can avoid this cringe by not showing up and trying to dance and point. Everyone's obsessed by dancing and pointing, and it's just you don't need to. I think I've maybe pointed once in my video. You don't. I mean, you can if you're good at it. That's great. Some people are really good at it, and it's like you barely notice that they're doing it. But other
Right,
people, it's like they're not pointing in the right direction, and they're not like the text isn't actually popping up in the right place. Like just leave it. Try
right.
something else.
But I don't know for people here that haven't started. Like I think it's important to note that it's like okay to just put content out there because in the
Yeah,
beginning it won't be good. So even if you're
yeah.
pointing,
Like to begin with, I did. I put out
right,
stuff that I haven't deleted all of it.
learn
I put
lessons
out
learned. Yeah,
stuff that just really wasn't that great, and it really wasn't business related either. That's the other thing. It was just for the heck
I
of
think
it, just to have a
yeah,
practice.
I think exactly. I think the before we get into the cringy stuff or whatever, it's like I think some people really struggle with getting in front of the camera. And for me, like when people find this out, they're like, "Oh, that's why you're comfortable, whatever." But like I did act and sing as a kid. Like I was very into that. I didn't want to be an actor, but like that was I really, really, really loved that. And and we have videos of me as a kid, and my siblings then thought I was cringy, but I was like, this is available, and we're in the airport, and we're gonna sing
I
songs.
want to see it. I want to
I
see
have to
it.
find it because I need to post it because it really was like that. And like,
Oh
we're
my
now in
God.
Disney World, and we're all matching and wearing red shirts. What do you have to say? And then like, I would give my brother like I really did that kind of thing. So I clearly liked being in front of the camera. But what we do a really good job in society is like beating the confidence out of each other.
Yeah,
So by the time I became an adult, and Sivan, if you remember her, Sivan Felder,
of course.
um, so we started actually doing something called Breadwinner, which was going to be a female, like working mom type of Facebook page. And I don't even think we had a business model yet, but it was going to be like funny videos and memes and interviews with different working moms. Like, think Ima Kadima, but like sort of the media side of that.
Hmm.
And she would come to my office. I was still working in high tech in a startup. And we would like film in her car, which everyone's doing now, but like we were doing that before. That was really as I said, I'm like, yeah, everyone does that now. But like we were doing it there, and I didn't feel super comfortable in front of the camera. Like I remember, I now found recently, like on my computer, videos of me in this startup in the bathroom. Like I would put my camera on the shelf, or I would turn my my camera on my computer on, and I'm not actually talking. I'm just like so no one would hear me because it's in the bathroom, but just to like practice being on camera because I was super uncomfortable and seeing yourself, especially we still live in a society where like we're never good enough, so we never look good enough, and how we look is actually important, which is not really that important. And so just getting comfortable seeing myself
Yeah.
talking on camera, and it's like I don't know, I could share them with you. I have to find them again, but it's literally
Oh, that's brilliant.
And when I started Veg It Out, I was like posting pictures of food and stuff. And Sivan's brother, they were still doing like the video thing and whatever. They were just starting out. And the brother's like, you gotta just get in your videos. Like you have to be in them, even if you're not talking. You have to be in your cooking videos because I'm telling you, like it really connects people and it will differentiate you. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. He's managed like 25 minutes. It's pretty good.
And I remember like, oh, no, I can't. Like everyone does cooking videos with their hands, and everyone has like a DSLR filming it, and like I can't like just do the video. And he's like, just do it. And this was before TikTok. It was like a few months before TikTok blew up with us, actually, like with our crowd, like our age people, right? Because like it was still when it was like all the like 12-year-olds like dancing in their room in their pajamas, which is so weird. And so my first video is actually just like sped up version of me not talking. It was almost like, what are those like black and white old movies from the 1920s? Like it was just like a sped up, that's what it looked like basically. It was like a sped up version of me cooking different things. And like I had seen a woman doing this, and like she just made really funny facial expressions. So while I was cooking, like I would take like, you know, the sweet potato, and like I'd be like, oh, and I like look like I was throwing it, and then I would like chop it up, and like I would just do silly things that because I wasn't talking, it was much easier just to get it done. And that sort of like these were the stages of like helping me get comfortable in front of the camera. And now I really feel genuine coming up in front of a cooking video and being like, hey, today we're going to make like now
Yeah,
when I look,
I think that's such a good point that it happens in stages.
yes,
Like I
yeah,
started off, I don't know if you saw this, I started off with the Disney princess filter so that I didn't
I
have to
don't,
show my face.
okay,
And I had that on for so long, and someone said to me, I'd forgotten what you looked like. And then I had like just regular face, but lip syncing, so it didn't have to be my face and my voice. And then
right.
eventually it was my face, my voice, but with like music in the background so that I felt like kind of I was on a movie or something. I think that really helps as well. Like when you put the music in the background, it makes you feel like some kind of like, I don't know, TV performance or something.
And I
I,
think it's important to remember that everyone is different. Also, like what something will make one person comfortable
yeah,
will make someone else uncomfortable. And I think also it's like you're being cringe, but it's like no, I don't think our point is to say like you should do the dancing trends even if you're a horrible dancer and you hate dancing and it kind of makes you like. I did
no.
like a dancing video with Esther Taub, like we've done a few for like with babies
Hmm.
and stuff.
They're
Um,
hilarious.
but like I don't know if you noticed, but the one I'm a horrible dancer. I probably look like so out of sync with everything. But like the ones that we picked were like very simple dances. And like when there was one that was more complicated, she's like, okay guys, let's do this. It's gonna be great. I told her like the next day, I'm like, I can't do it. I'm like, I didn't sleep the entire night. I can't do this dance because it didn't feel like me and it just
No,
wouldn't. So when we're saying be cringe, it's not be cringe and do things that like other people are doing. It's like you need to
do the
find,
thing that you want to do. Yeah,
but you have to find that like slowly do things that are easier for you till you get on, and like find the thing that makes you feel true to yourself. And unfortunately, the thing that makes us feel the most genuine and true to some people will be amazing, and people will like value it and be like, oh my god, you're so brave for showing up. And for other people, they'll be like, oh my god, it's so weird, like. And that's sort of the story that came up. I think the reason why you asked me to talk about this was because what happened to me when we went in the U.S. I was at my brother's Shava Brachot, and I have one brother who is on social media, and he started a company, and now he's actually actor and like a producer, and he's really into film, and he wasn't doing TikToks, and he started an escape room in Miami, and I was like, you have to do TikToks to help promote your escape room, like it would be amazing and whatever. And he just like couldn't start doing it, and I think he really appreciated what I was doing, but I think it also like freaked him out. And so at the Shava Brachot, he was showing my other siblings the videos that I did, and like these other siblings that are not on social media, and they were like, oh my god, it's so weird, Bayla, you're so weird, I can't believe like literally just like all the honesty that you could only get from like siblings. Like, no, that's so weird. I can't even watch this. Oh my gosh, I can't even watch this. And one of my brothers that's like 3 years younger than me, and I'm really close with him, and we're very similar. I looked at him and I'm like, I'm making X amount on sales from like 1 month of doing this. Okay. So this is what I can do to make sales. And I enjoy doing this. And there's nothing wrong with it. If it makes you uncomfortable, don't watch it.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I had to do that. And I regretted getting so upset because it really made me upset. And I realized afterwards it made me so upset because I was embarrassed that they're my siblings and I love them. But in the end of the day, it's like,
They're not your target audience.
not my target audience. And I enjoy doing this. I don't know, I'm not doing something so ridiculous. Like, this is me. I enjoy doing it. I didn't feel like I was selling myself out. I felt like I showed up genuinely. And if it makes you uncomfortable, that's your problem, not my problem.
Absolutely. I think that's a really good point to end on because somebody needs some attention.
Sorry.
So be sorry. Thank you so much for giving your time
Thank
and your
you.
experience. And if you notice, your picture's on the wall. You see
I
that?
saw that, but I didn't want to, like, yeah. Yes, I saw that. It's so cool. I love that.
All right. Thank you, guys,
Thank you
both
so
of
much.
you. Um, and if anyone hasn't discovered you yet on Instagram, you're Veg It Out, right?
Yes,
Not
at
Veg It
Veg It
Out, at Veg It
Out.
Out.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay,
See
see you.
ya. Bye.